She became the internet's favorite meme overnight, turning a single viral moment into millions of dollars and a lifestyle most people never reach, but then everything went horribly wrong.
Oh, it's enough to traumatize you. Like, I wouldn't come out of the house for like months.
The feds come to Granny's house and knocked on her door, and she called me having a heart attack, said, "The FBI is here after you. What have you done?" I was like, what?
This is how Haliey Welch went from factory worker to one of the most controversial figures in influencer history, and why the internet still can't decide if she was a scammer or just another victim of viral fame. Before she was Hawk Tuah girl, Haliey Welch was nobody special. Born in 2003 in Tennessee, she lived with her grandmother and worked in a bed spring factory. She had no social media following, no Hollywood connections, no plans for fame. But on June 11th, 2024, she was walking down Nashville's Broadway bar district with a friend when two street interviewers from Tim and DTV stopped them with a camera. They asked a simple question about what moves work in bed. And Haliey's answer, delivered in a thick southern accent with a loud spitting sound, became the most viral moment of the summer.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing, you get me?
Within 48 hours, Hawk Tuah was everywhere. TikTok and Instagram were filled with her sounds and memes. Rolling Stone called her a Gen Z Dolly Parton. People kept asking why that one joke landed so hard, but it just did. That line, everyone got it immediately. And overnight, she went from completely unknown to one of the most recognizable faces on the internet. But there was one problem. She wasn't making a single dollar from her own virality. Others were selling Hawk Tuah hats. Other creators were using her face for clout, and companies were profiting from her image. So she did what any smart viral star would do. She hired management, signed with the Penthouse agency, and started turning attention into income. Within weeks, she'd partnered with Fathead Threads to sell official merchandise. Around 2,000 hats sold early on, generating roughly $65,000 in revenue. She started getting paid for club appearances, reportedly $30,000 per event, and her Instagram literally exploded to over 1 million followers within a few weeks. She threw out the first pitch at a Mets game, did bits with Shaquille O'Neal, and appeared on major podcasts. Joe Rogan even mentioned her.
Did you see the you got a Hawk Tuah spit on that thing, girl?
Yo,
it's massive.
She's famous now.
She's infinitely funnier than Shab with that single joke. She needs to copyright that phrase if she hasn't already. The internet had decided Haliey Welch was no longer just a meme. She was America's sweetheart. And just as things seemed to be working, she doubled down by launching a podcast and building it into a real business. In partnership with Jake Paul's Beater, she debuted Hawk Tuah with her friend Chelsea Bradford. The show leaned into her unfiltered country girl persona, raunchy humor, celebrity guests, and stories about suddenly being famous. Early episodes featured Whitney Cummings, Mark Cuban, Jake Paul, and KSI. The podcast debuted at number 3 on Spotify's charts and even led to a spin-off recap show called Talking Hawk Tuah. At this point, Haliey Welch had done something most viral stars never achieve. She'd converted a single moment into a sustainable media brand. Her manager told The Hollywood Reporter they'd turned down horror movie offers, American Idol, and even OF pitches. The strategy was clear: stay mainstream, stay likable, and keep building. On December 3rd, 2024, she released an episode titled How to Avoid Getting Cancelled. The irony of that title would become clear within 24 hours. On December 4th, 2024, Haliey Welch announced the launch of Hawk, a cryptocurrency meme coin built on the Solana blockchain.
My Hawk meme coin is live!
The pitch was simple. This was a fan token, a way for her community to invest in something tied to her brand. Her team promised they hadn't sold any tokens. They framed it as a long-term project. Within hours, the coin's market cap reportedly hit $500 million. But within 24 hours, Hawk lost more than 90% of its value, cratering to around $25 to $30 million. Fans who trusted her lost money, and for some, it wasn't small amounts but savings they couldn't afford to lose. But the real problem wasn't just the crash. Blockchain analysis from Bubble Maps pointed to something much worse. Between 80% and 96% of the token supply was controlled by insiders, and dozens of them sold 100% of their holdings immediately after launch. What had looked chaotic started to feel coordinated: pump and dump. As crypto investigators looked closer, the numbers told a clearer story. The coin carried a 15% transaction fee, bringing in an estimated $2 million in the first 24 hours, and pre-sale allocations had given insiders a clear advantage over regular buyers. And they found that Haliey's audience, the normies who'd never touched crypto before, were the primary targets.
They're not targeting crypto bros. They're mostly targeting, like,
actual fans who've never been involved in, the crypto space before.
On Twitter, hashtags like Jail Tuah started trending. Reddit threads exploded with thousands of comments calling her a scammer. People shared stories of losing housing deposits, savings, and money they couldn't afford to lose. CoffeeZilla took things even further, jumping into a disastrous Twitter Spaces with Haliey's team to confront them directly.
Who's making millions of dollars on fees from this rug pull?
That's not a scheme. That's the project, so we can keep this thing going for years.
Her team's response was evasive at best.
Who cares where fees go? It goes to bills.
You heard him right. Who cares where millions of dollars went?
That non-answer only made things worse. And then, at the peak of this crisis, Haliey made the worst decision possible. She stepped away. In the middle of a live discussion with investors asking for answers, she simply said,
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Look at the audacity. She's off to sleep after scamming the very fans who trusted her. This girl is more worried about her beauty sleep than the people she scammed. Even Penguin0 called it one of the worst influencer scams he'd ever seen.
It's been nearly 3 weeks since our world was flipped upside down in the wake of the catastrophic Hawk Tuah coin crypto scam from Haliey Welch and her team of worms.
Instead of addressing any of it, she just disappeared. The podcast ended, her social accounts went silent, and she offered no explanation or accountability for any of it. And while she was hiding, the consequences kept building.
And that's when we get to the point after the coin launch. The feds come to Granny's house and knocked on her door, and she called me having a heart attack, said, the FBI is here after you. What have you done? I was like, what?
That's what Haliey revealed months later when she finally broke her silence on her podcast in May 2025. Federal investigators had shown up at her grandmother's house. The woman who'd raised her, who had nothing to do with crypto, was being questioned by the FBI. Investors filed a class action lawsuit alleging the coin was an unregistered security and that the launch was a speculative frenzy designed to exploit her fame. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission opened an investigation. For someone who'd gone from factory worker to meme star in a matter of weeks, the reality of federal scrutiny was terrifying. In later interviews, she described that period as traumatic. She barely left the house for months, dealing with death threats and constant messages from people saying she owed them money. It took over everything, turning her life into something defined by the fallout.
I feel really bad for all the people that got affected by it. I guess you can put him. That was my biggest mistake.
Yeah,
I probably should have looked into him.
We heard a little bit about him.
Notice the phrasing, him, not them, or the team. She was already starting to shift blame. And in March 2025, her lawyer announced that the SEC had closed its investigation without making any findings against or seeking any monetary sanctions from Haliey. Legally, she was in the clear, but reputationally, the damage was permanent. By March 2026, after months of silence, Haliey decided it was time to tell her side of the story. She sat down with Andrew Callahan for a Channel 5 interview that was supposed to clear her name. Instead, it reopened every wound.
Oh, it's enough to traumatize you. Like, I wouldn't come out of the house for like months. This time I was starting to get like death threats and everything else.
When she finally responded, her explanation raised more questions than answers. She was just the face. She didn't understand crypto and had trusted the wrong people.
People telling me I owe them all this money, and I'm like, I didn't do this. And I'm sitting here and I'm the one getting hit for this. I mean, I took every step you're supposed to take. Like, I was cooperative with the FBI, like the, what are they called? The SEC. I was cooperative with everybody.
And then came the line that defined the entire interview.
I think people give me a lot more credit for that whole crypto scam than like I can actually pull off. They're like, oh yeah, she pulled this off. I'm almost a 22-year-old girl. Like, you give me so much credit. You really think I can do that by myself?
She leaned into the dumb girl defense. She claimed she didn't even have Twitter downloaded, that her team would send her sentences to post and she'd just copy them. But the internet wasn't buying it because there was evidence that contradicted her story. In February 2025, a leaked Hawk Tuah episode featuring FaZe Banks revealed that Haliey had been warned. The entire crypto community had told her not to launch a token, and she did it anyway. She even referenced CoffeeZilla by name.
And then CoffeeZilla got on there. Scary guy, let me tell you. Don't ever want to have a conversation with him.
FaZe Banks himself later tweeted a brutal assessment. These incompetent people leaked and or inside traded the token. We noticed a random spike in volume on the coin. Very clearly, her team was not as solid as they claimed to be. They completely blew it. And when Haliey's Channel 5 interview dropped in March 2026, crypto investigator Zach XBT delivered the final blow with a tweet that laid out the timeline. She starts posting about meme coin's entirety of crypto. Twitter tells her not to launch a token. She launches meme coin anyway after she blames partners and disappears off social media with followers losing funds. No one should feel bad for the trauma. The interview hadn't cleared her name. It had just reminded everyone why they were angry in the first place. So what happened next? Haliey tried to pivot. She announced she'd start streaming on Twitch, but when asked what Twitch even was, her response revealed how little she understood the platform she was trying to use.
Okay, so what is Twitch?
It's like where you live stream. Like you play games and you live stream.
People make so much money live streaming.
And you don't do anything. You just play games and you set a camera up where people can watch you.
She went from selling out appearances for $30,000 to streaming to fewer than 10 people. The podcast continued, but engagement had dropped sharply. Her Instagram still had around 2 million followers, but the engagement was gone. She moved on to alternative ways to make money, joining fanfics, where creators sell exclusive content and personal updates, usually priced between $20 and $50 per post. She publicly denied ever joining OF, saying,
I don't think I could ever do OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so weird to say. You gotta have something to sell before you can get on there.
But her fanfics marketing told a different story. Posts included suggestive captions like, ready for me to release more feet stuff.
Did you know what my toes are ranked on Feet Finder?
Tell me.
4 out of 5.
Whoa!
Says never to OF, has a feet finder. Where is the f***ing logic? The world has gone mad. The same audience that had once celebrated her as relatable and funny now saw someone monetizing the remnants of fame in increasingly desperate ways. But that was the problem. To the internet, she was Hawk Tuah. That phrase had given her everything, and now it was all she had left. By late 2025, Haliey Welch's trajectory had become a case study in how quickly internet fame can collapse. She'd built a brand on being likable, relatable, and funny. And she destroyed it by asking her fans to trust her with their money. The crypto scandal showed exactly what the internet hates, an influencer treating their audience like a resource instead of a community. And once that trust was broken, no apology, no explanation, and no legal clearance could rebuild it. By 2026, Haliey was still online, still posting and trying to make content work. But the comment sections had changed. Celebration had turned into suspicion. You scammed millions, dipped, and came back for more. She's the Shia LaBeouf of Gen Z. The internet made her famous overnight, and just as quickly, it decided she wasn't worth trusting.